All right, welcome to this week's art lesson. We're going to be making a pop-up card from a few very simple items. And at the end of it, what you'll end up with is something like this. Now I'm just going to switch over to our second camera so that you can see it a little bit clearly. So here we have our frog, and you can see that it's very simple, a few geometric shapes, which you'll be learning about in maths. And you can make the frog's mouth open and close. Now this doesn't have to be just a frog. You could have a shark, you could have a rabbit, and I'll even share some examples of work that the students in my class have done so you can see some of the ideas, and then you can go ahead and make your own. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just show you the things that you'll need to get this party started. All right, so first things first, you're going to need a piece of paper, just one, that's all you need. You'll need a nice sharp pencil. You'll need a pair of scissors, and you will absolutely need a ruler. Make sure that you've got one that's only 30 centimeters long. Don't have a massive one. I know that some students love pulling out the 50 centimeter ones, but you need one that's this length. And it should be this length, 15 centimeters, half that is kind of too short. So you do need one that's 30 centimeters long. All right, so the first thing we are going to do with our piece of paper here is we're going to fold it over like this. So we're going landscape view and folding it over like this. Make sure it's a nice, sharp, neat fold, and make sure that the edges here line up really nicely with each other. Now, the trick to folding nicely is to just very gently press down to start with before you give it a nice guiding press with your fingers. And then once you've done that, you can turn it around. Because what we're going to be doing, we've folded it once this way, we're going to turn it around and we're going to fold it the other way, like that. So we're making something that's a lot smaller. And we're going to fold that over, and I'm going to make sure that my edges line up. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but you want it to be 99% there. So just a nice press, and then you can go along with your finger like that. And what you should end up with is a little card that you can open up like this, and then you can open it up again like this. So we've we've folded our page into quarters. What we're going to do, just to make sure that we understand where the middle of our card is, or the inside of our card, is I'm just going to get you to take your pencil and put a nice little line at the top there and at the bottom here, just to make sure that you know which part is the inside of your card. Because what you're then going to do is you're going to open it back up again, and you can see here that the inside of our card is very clear. And what we're going to do is rule a line right down the very center of our card, just so it's very clear where the center is. Now, if you're doing this a few more times, you might not end up ruling this line down the center. But to start with, it's very important that we understand why we are doing all these things. So the way that you get your ruler to nicely line up with everything is you put your pencil right on that little mark that you made here. Make sure that your pencil's on that mark, and you just guide the ruler in so it taps the pencil there. Then you can swivel your ruler around until it gets to this point down here. So we swivel it around till it gets there, and then we just press down reasonably firmly with our ruler, and we can draw a very nice light line down there. Now, I'm going to draw mine a little bit thicker and harder, but you want to draw it kind of lightly. I'm just doing it thicker and harder so that you can see it on the page. So I'm going to rule that again just so it's a little bit easier. There we go. And what you're then going to do is measure from the bottom of your page up. We're going to measure 7.5 centimeters. So in order to do that, I've got to turn my page around here. And on your ruler, you'll see that you've got all these different little things here. We've got our millimeters. So this is all in millimeters. So 10 millimeters equals a centimeter. 20 millimeters equals 2 centimeters. And any measurement that we make always starts at this 0 millimeter mark. That's the very start of any measurement we're going to make. So I need to put my ruler right on the very edge of my paper here, and I'm going to measure up to the 7 centimeter mark. And remember, we're in millimeters, so it's this 7 centimeter mark here. And I'm going to go to the halfway between halfway between 7 and 8. And I'm just going to put a little notch there. Just make a little thing through your page. Make sure it's accurate. I'm then going to go and I'm going to make 2 more notches, one over this side of the page and one over this side, and they're both going to be 7.5 centimeters. So once again, to make sure everything's accurate, I come back over here and I make sure that my 0 is on the very edge of the page, and I mark that off at the 7.5 centimeter mark. I'm then going to go down here and I'm going to mark off my ruler again, my page again, and I'm going to mark that off at the 7.5 centimeter mark here. The next thing that I need to do is I need to measure or rule a line all the way across from this point all the way down to here. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to then put my pencil mark on the line here, and I'm going to swivel my ruler over like this. And then making sure that my pencil marks line up all the way down here. And then I'm going to rule a line. Like that. Now that we've ruled our line across our page, going all the way across and all the way down, what you'll be able to do is fold your page up again, and you can see that we have the line going right through the center here. This is how we're going to create our triangles, to be able to cut so that when we come to actually creating the frog, as you can see, we've got our triangles here, here, and here. They make a square. We're going to be able to rule those to be able to then have our frog open and close its mouth. So that's what we're going to do now. What we need to do is actually rule 4 centimeters from the center point in all the different directions. So again, we have to make sure when we're doing this that we are extremely accurate with our ruling. We are going to make sure that we get our 0 mark here and place that right on the very center point. Then we're going to make sure that we have our 40 millimeter mark or our 4 centimeter mark, and we're going to measure and put a notch. I'm going to turn my paper around and I'm going to then do the same again. So making sure that it lines up here and then coming down and putting a notch there, rotating around, doing the same thing again, notch on the 40 millimeter, come around again and putting a notch there. Make sure that we just give that a little bit extra, just so it's very clear where the line is going through. And once we've done that, and we've got 4 centimeters in each direction, we can then go ahead and rule a line between each of them. Now, it's super important that our line that we draw hits these marks. So once again, what you need to do is you're going to take your pencil and place it right on the intersection of these 2 lines here. If you've drawn it accurately, then it should hopefully work. You're going to put your pencil there and you're going to just let your ruler move over until it taps your pencil, and then you're going to rotate around until you get to the point where the ruler is actually on that intersecting line down here. So I'm looking where those 2 lines intersect. This one going this way, this one going this way. And I've got to draw a line right down to that point, like that. Now what I'm going to do is do the same thing for all the other lines. So I put my pencil back on here, I make sure that my ruler taps it, and I'm going to line that up and then rule again. You've got to make sure that your point really hits that mark, because if it's off, everything is not going to work. Now I'm going to grab this point and do another ruled line over there, and take this and do another ruled line over there, like that. So here is where we have our start for our shape. Now, the most important thing also is that when we are going to draw our frog, or whatever animal it is, the fold along the top here is the top of our card. Sometimes I've seen students do it so that it's around the wrong way. So they do it like this, so the fold is at the bottom. That means that when you do it, it's going to be here, so the top is floating. We want to make sure that our fold is in the middle and we fold it over, and this is where we can draw our animal. Now you might like to draw a frog. Here's a very simple frog. I'm sure you could do a better frog than that. You could also draw a rabbit, which is what we're going to do here as well. So I'm just going to put a few little ears in here, little bunny rabbit, and like that. And let's see, maybe a couple of little bunny rabbit eyes. And we'll put a little bit of a light spot there and color those in. And we need to have a little nose here for the bunny rabbit. And let's see, that's good enough. I could, if I wanted to, draw some teeth in there, but we'll leave it as it is for the moment. And then I'm going to draw a little body for our bunny, whoop, like that, and some legs, and some little paws. There we go. So there's our bunny. Let's see, what else could we put on our bunny? Oh, it needs a fluffy little tail, that's right. So we'll put a fluffy little tail like that. And there we go. So what we're going to end up doing is putting or cutting a line through here next to be able to make our bunny. This is something that I find students will try to fold it back like this and cut, so don't do that. What you need to do is unfold your page, make sure that it's flat like that, so it's completely unfolded. Then what you can do is fold it backwards and make sure that your crease is the same. So don't go and do a new random fold. Make sure that you crease it down the center of that line like that. There we go. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut from this point here over to this point. So I'm going to take my scissors very carefully. And I'm going to, so shaky. I'm going to cut that down there. Now make sure you don't go too far. That it's just to that point. There we go. So you can see that I've now got it just to that point. And this is where these lines are really handy, because what we're going to do is fold back our bunny head. So I'll just bring this up a little bit closer. So we're going to fold back our bunny head and crease it on that line. So I'm going to fold it backwards. It's a bit fiddly, but I'm going to fold it on that line, like so that it's like that. Then I can unfold it and fold it the other way, making sure to keep it on that line, nice and creased. So you've got to make sure when you do this part that you're folding it on exactly the same line, because sometimes you'll fold it back and it might try and go on a different angle. You've got to make sure it's the same angle on both sides. I'm then going to do the same thing to the bottom. So let's go to the bottom. Oh, what's happening with my zoom there, or my focus? All right, here we go. So bottom and crease, and then over again and crease, making sure it's right on that nice crease line. Maybe I've gone too far. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, so, and back again. And we should get something like this. So we open it back up. Now this bit is where we need to go the other way. So in order to make sure that our rabbit opens its mouth properly, we're going to have to fold our rabbit inwards like that. So it looks like this. So we're folding it inwards. And make sure that you crease it along that line again, that middle line. And this takes a little bit of skill. So watch carefully. What we have to do is I'm going to put my finger in between like that. So I've got my fingers in between there. This helps us to be able to do this next bit. So fingers in between like that. And what I'm going to do is press, I'll bring it down, press inwards on that bottom one until it goes all the way back to the fold. So sometimes you might try and do it where it goes backwards, but what will happen is it'll roll backwards. So it might go like that, and you might try and press it, but what you want to do is make sure that you press it all the way back. like that. And then you're going to press this one till it goes all the way in. And then what you want to do is just press those little bits there so that they're nice and firm. Doop, 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 like that. Then we can unfold everything. I'm just going to turn this around. And we can fold it over like that. And here we have our little bunny. Hello, my name is Mr. Bun. All right, so then what you can do is you can decorate it. You can put a little funny saying on the front of it if you like, or you can add in, maybe what you'd like to do is add in some little teeth. So what we can actually do, let's do that. I'm going to grab a piece of paper and we're going to add some teeth in here very quickly. All right, so this is going to be a very, very quick addition that I haven't actually shown my students. I'm just going to fold this over. And I'm going to cut it like so into a little tooth. A tiny little tooth like that, very small. Can you see it? Why is this camera not doing it? Okay, there we go. So it's a tiny little tooth. Oh, and I'm running out of battery. So maybe this won't be such a great thing. But what you're going to do is you're going to take these teeth and you're going to then sticky tape those on the back like this. You're just going to take some sticky tape and you're going to stick it there like that. And then you should have a nice set of teeth. So I'm going to take my sticky tape and hopefully my camera doesn't run out before I stick this down. And there we go. And then there's my little rabbit with some teeth. What a cute little rabbit with some teeth. There we go. So have fun making that and doing your measurement and making a little card. Again, you can make a frog, you can make a rabbit, you can make a shark, you can make a fish, you can make whatever you like. But that is going to be all for today. So I hope you enjoyed following along there and making your own little pop-up card. In future lessons, we're going to get into some more technical pop-up cards with some tetrahedrons. Wait, is it tetrahedron? I don't even know. I'll have to double check. But we're going to look at trapezoids and different shapes that we can use to be able to make more interesting looking animals and things like that. So that is going to be coming up in future videos. But I would love to see your work, and I'm sure your teacher would love to see what creativity you're able to come up with. So have fun making your pop-up cards, and I will see you in the next video.